Hello, everyone, and thanks for listening to the Quality Hub Chatting with ISO Experts. I'm your host, Xavier Francis, and today I'm here with one of our favorite guests, the legendary Suzanne Strausser, VP of Consulting and Development here at CORE. Glad you could join us again.
Wow, thank you. Legendary. Awesome.
Yes, you're a legend
in my own mind.
In your own mind, and actually a lot of people's around here, honestly. Well, Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too.
So glad to have you back again. And this time we're going to talk about what is ISO 9001 and what can it do for you in 2026? Maybe touch on what's coming up in the new update as well. But first, let's learn a little bit about Suze. And I'm going to start with this question. A little weird.
Okay.
What's your favorite smell and why?
Oh, man. Would it be weird if I said gasoline?
No, because that's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, that and I have a smoker.
Ooh.
So whenever I cook,
that's
that's really good too. But I do love gasoline.
Well, it's funny because we're both in line there. I used to hate gasoline. Then I'm like, man, this smells really good. And of course, we're very similar again in mine is barbecuing. I don't have a smoker. Smoking is great too.
Yes.
Well, smoking meats and foods is great.
Yes.
It makes me so happy. Or sad if I'm not going to partake. But, you're driving down the road in the summer and it's like, oh, someone's grilling. And you're like, you got pizza in the back. And you're like, it's not the same, or whatever. But now that I'm hungry, let's get back on topic. All right. 9001, if someone's brand new, what is it? And what problem did it solve? Clearly it did, so it stuck around globally. Why did it do that?
Oh, okay. So ISO 9001 is the world's most widely used quality management system, QMS standard. So it's a written standard. Mm-hmm. So in English, it's kind of a globally agreed playbook on how an organization runs, how it consistently delivers what customers and regulatory bodies expect, and how the organization improves over time.
Okay. So one thing that is probably different since it's a standard and it can be certified and everything is there's probably a lot of quality management systems, but this is one that's globally recognized. You can be certified to it. You have to go through an audit. That's something that's different about it.
That's right.
Okay. Now, what problem was it created to solve?
Sure. Well, at least say after World War II.
Okay.
And then going forward, global trade was really exploding.
Okay.
But suppliers and buyers, they didn't have a common trust language, so to speak. So one factory's quality meant something totally different from another's.
Okay, I could see that.
So ISO 9001 kind of grew out of earlier standards like the UK's BS 5750 or MIL standards to create this single universal baseline for quality assurance.
All right.
And that meant fewer repeated audits, fewer customer audits, clearer supplier expectations, and a lot more confidence in like cross-border business.
Okay. So it's certainly something to let trade flourish in a time when it was starting to grow. And we're not just talking about like, getting spices from, certain places.
That's
correct. The British Empire or whatever, which we're not going to talk about. But I can see sort of why it stuck around, but what are some of the reasons why it stuck around?
Yeah, and I think there's three kind of big reasons nowadays. So one is it's adaptable.
Okay.
So ISO 9001 isn't how to manufacture blah, blah, blah widgets standard. It's a management framework that works for, hospitals, software companies, machine shops, nonprofits, whatever, you name it.
That makes sense. I know from, I'm not an ISO guy. I came in here and worked.
We are now.
Yeah. Back when I started, I was like, ISO, what's this? But it really is kind of cool how it initially was like, man, this doesn't tell you what to do.
Right.
It's a little bit curious. And then I was like, wait a minute, that makes sense generically because it can apply across so many different types of businesses. So I can see why that would be one reason it stuck around.
Yep.
What other ones?
Well, I think it's also really in line with how good businesses already want to run.
Okay.
So process control, customer focus, risk-based thinking, improvement. It's modern management philosophy.
Gotcha. Anything else?
I think, network effect. Like there's over 1 million organizations certified worldwide. Wow. So, it became almost this minimum requirement that you had to be certified in a lot of industries.
Okay. Well, that's a great start. Now, what are the main core building blocks, no pun intended, of ISO 9001 as a QMS, and how do they show up daily?
Sure. So we'll walk through all the clause areas. So ISO 9001, at least 2015 version, is built on 7 operational clauses,
Okay.
4 through 10. Of course, it doesn't start at number 1.
No, actually there's a 0, isn't there?
Yeah, and 1, 2, and 3 are kind of other stuff. So
okay. So the operational clauses
really starts in clause 4. Okay. So think of these as the QMS building blocks.
Okay.
So first is context of the organization, which is clause 4. So, day to day, you think about what could affect quality. Markets, external factors, competitors, risks, training, internal factors. And it's where you define your QMS scope and your key processes. You kind of put a fence around your QMS and you think about what can affect it.
Gotcha. So it's your first step of we're defining the context of what we're going to work with.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. Then we get into leadership, which is clause 5, which, kind of on a day-to-day basis, leaders set quality objectives or metrics. Mm-hmm. They remove barriers, let's hope, for their employees.
Right.
Model, how to do things. And quality isn't really delegated to one manager anymore. Mm-hmm. It used to be, hey, quality guy, go do this.
Yeah.
You can't survive with that mindset these days.
You may have a leader there, but that doesn't mean that they're doing it all.
Correct. All right. Then we move into planning, which is clause 6. And then on a daily basis, of course, you set measurable goals, you plan changes, upcoming things, think about risks and opportunities and address them before they, bite you.
I like the plan, the change management.
Yep.
That's something you're like, what? And you're like, once you start thinking about it, you're like, ooh, yeah, I have to think about how this can affect
there's
everything.
Consequences.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And planning for those changes.
Yep.
What's next?
Support.
Okay.
So clause 7, which is training, competence checks for your employees, making sure people know how to do a good job, having good tools and equipment, calibrated equipment.
Important for manufacturing, especially.
Document control, how to share knowledge between people. So all that stuff.
Important.
Yep. Then operations. So clause 8 is really where you get the meat of the standard about how you actually deliver your products or services to your customers. We're looking at defined workflows, acceptance criteria, design controls, supplier management. How do we release products and services? All that stuff.
So when you're getting into the work of what you do.
Understanding your customer requirements too, for sure. Then performance evaluation is clause 9. So you're looking at, how are we doing? Dashboards, KPIs, customer feedback, internal audits, management reviews, all these systems to measure whether your processes are working or not.
Right. And this is more than just what's the bottom line. It's really getting into the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, are you being
and the
effective?
Details of how your processes are working and all of that.
That's right.
Okay.
And then clause 10 is improvement. So how do you get better over time? Corrective actions, root cause analysis for your issues that you find, continual improvement projects, things like that.
Right. Well, it certainly does show through those 7 operational clauses really how to do business.
That's right.
That's great. And it's not really a manual and then you shelve it.
No. Exactly. So, it's alive. It's baked into your meetings, your onboarding with employees or suppliers, supplier evaluations, goal setting, how you fix problems.
It certainly is something that you don't want to do separate from your business planning and
right.
such. And we're going to talk about that, I think, in a future episode of how you kind of, let's say you're a business and you haven't used 9001 before, getting those things to integrate together where it's really just all the same thing. Well, this is fabulous. So we're into 2026 here, and there is an update coming for 9001. Why is 9001 more relevant than ever starting this year, especially with the update coming?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of external pressures. So context of our organizations, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of external pressures are converging. Customers want proof, not promises.
That makes sense.
They want consistent delivery and transparent metrics and rapid corrective actions. You get asked that all the time. Show me exactly what you're going to do. Don't just say, "Oh, we fixed it." Right?
Yeah.
And ISO gives that kind of shared assurance model.
I like that shared assurance model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also say that supply chains are a lot more picky and more fragile.
Yeah. Fragile is a really good way to put it at this day and age.
Yeah, and big buyers are flowing down the requirements to smaller suppliers. So quality, product and service quality, risk controls, sometimes sustainability and ethics.
Mm-hmm.
But ISO 9001 is still the quickest trust signal.
Okay. A lot of people are looking at their suppliers with a lot more of a fine-tooth comb than they used to.
Yes.
You said something about sustainability and ethics. A lot of people, that's important to them because it's important to their customers. And they're like, where do you get these materials from?
Right. Exactly right.
There's a whole thing, about people making sure that people aren't being abused by mining in horrible conditions.
Right.
If you're looking all the way to the raw materials. And that's really important. And the clearer you can be in showing evidence that, we're not supporting that type of business. We're trying to do it ethically. Really can be important.
Right.
What else?
Risk is a lot, we could say louder.
Okay.
Now it's a lot more visible, right?
Okay.
Cyber incidents, labor swings, geopolitical disruptions, AI-driven process changes. Risk-based thinking is no longer optional.
No, because they're just going to take advantage of you.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
And then I think climate and sustainability expectations, which are now in the standard, is also important and something that's driving change. Since the 2024 amendment, organizations have to consider whether climate change affects their context and their stakeholders. Mm-hmm. And that requirement carries into 2026 thinking. So it'll be embedded into the new standard for sure.
Yeah. Politics aside, the more sustainable something is, the better it's going to be in the long run for any business. So it's not just about that. It's about what risk does it, is there a risk and how can it affect you from that perspective? Anything else?
Yeah, I think the one other thing is that, hybrid remote work, whatever you want to call it, is normal now. So ISO is adapting to ensure infrastructure, communication, culture, still protect quality where teams are distributed.
Yeah. Not everybody's down the hall anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
Making that clear and how to handle those types of things are really important.
Right.
This ends part 1 of What is ISO 9001 and what can it do for you in 2026? Tune in next week when we continue our discussion with Suzanne Strausser and get into more details on the 2026 update of the ISO 9001 standard, as well as cover the path to ISO 9001 certification. And we want to give a big thank you to everyone who's tuned into today's episode. We hope you found it helpful and that you walked away with something of value. If you'd like to learn more about Core Business Solutions, now proudly a part of the LRQA family, and how we can support you with ISO certification, cybersecurity, or customized training, we'd love to hear from you. Just email us at info@thecoresolution.com or visit us online at www.thecoresolution.com. And if you haven't already, make sure to follow the Quality Hub podcast on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube so you don't miss the next episode dropping next week. Thanks again for listening.